No, he's not. And I need you to hear me out. What's up, guys? All Pencil here, and here we are to talk about whether or not Yuta Okkotsu is a top 5 character in terms of raw ability in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen. And why ultimately, I think the answer is a big, fat, hefty no. And I think it's kind of hard to argue otherwise. However, before I get into this, please, I need y'all to come into this with an open mind, open hearts, open belief. Please hear me out. Do not just immediately run to the comment section and be like, you're a fool, you're a deceiver, you're a Yuta anti. Because admittedly, I'm none of those things. Like, I don't know. I really do like Yuta. Trust me. I've been like building a counter narrative for a while now, just because Yuta's been going crazy in the fandom. The main reason I want to make this video is because I was seeing a whole bunch of top 10 lists, a whole bunch of top 5 lists, and Yuta usually creeps his way into the top 5. But personally, just based on what Yuta has shown so far, putting theory to the side, I just don't think the man has enough to really put him up there in the top 5. Does that mean I think he's not top 10? No. Does that mean I think he's fodder? No. Do I think that he does not have the potential to become a top 5 character? Heck no. But just breaking down Yuta and analyzing all of his stats across the board, I just don't think bro has what it takes to really be a top 5 character. But let's not waste any more time and let's hop right into it. So, what's up, guys? And let's talk about Yuta Okkotsu. So, the main thing about the top 5 of JJK is that it's not as simple as it would seem, right? Because to be a top 5 character in JJK, you can't just be strong. You can't just be fast. You can't just be hacked out. You can't just be smart. You gotta be like this nice balanced combo of all three. We have extremely fast characters in the verse. Look at the Projection Sorcery duo. Look at Maki and Toji. Look at, those are really the main speedsters. Like, they aren't really, I guess you could throw Awakened Itadori in that. Like, throw all the speedsters together. I don't think, do I don't think, I may contradict myself soon enough on that thought, but I don't think any of the speedsters, or at least like the common speedsters that you think of, really make it into the top 5 either. But they have super high speed. For the big powerhouses, you got the Ryus, you got the, I guess it's mainly Ryu, the Hikaris, you got the Itadoris. Once again, Itadori's kind of up there weirdly in terms of the common things, like speed and power. He's pretty up there now after his liberation. But like, I don't think they realistically count as top 5 characters in the verse, just because of how certain things work out. And you have super duper hacks individuals. You got your Mahitos. You got your, I mean, I guess Uro is pretty hacked out. Like, sky manipulation is pretty stupid when you think about it. You got even the main man, the myth himself, Takaba. I don't think, because, can I say Takaba's not top 1? He's like number 0. Like technically, he's not number 1, but he is number 1. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think, like, this is unironically, I don't think Gojo or Sukuna could beat him until they open domain. If they open domain, they beat Takaba. But like, in terms of just like a raw, like, Gojo could hit Takaba in the face with the hollow purple, and if it's not in domain, I don't think it works. Like, straight up, because Takaba's that hacked. But you have your hacks beast. And under most traditional circumstances, memes aside, I don't think they're top 5. I think you do need that balance. But, okay, with that being the case, how is Yuta not top 5? Well, let's cover it bit by bit. Number 1, the most basic stat we need to cover for Yuta is raw power. Raw, girthy, juicy output. How hard does the man hit? And unfortunately, I don't think it really falls in top 5 in terms of raw power. Notably, I am still going to be including Rika in this. I know it's cheating to remove Rika from Yuta. They are a package deal. Typically, the video probably should be titled Yuta and Rika together are not top 5, but that's just, it's not as flashy. So like, obviously I'm going to talk about Rika too, but the worst thing about Yuta is that his AP kind of sucks. Like here's the thing. It doesn't suck. It's just not that good. It's not that good. Because when you look at Yuta, what are his best feats in terms of like hand-to-hand, sword combat, anything? Kind of nothing. Like, remember, in his most recent fight, because that's the Yuta we kind of got to go off of. We can talk about JJK 0 Yuta, but I'm going to specifically talk about that. Even that really isn't that impressive for Yuta. But, well, it is, but it isn't in terms of his just raw, like, punchy punch. And reason number 1, in the Sendai fight, we see what happens when Yuta himself tries to fight Ryu and Uro. Let's just say he doesn't do too well. Like, legitimately, base Yuta running up on Uro doesn't land a single hit. and whatever hit he does land kind of gets blocked or misdirected or dragged around. So we don't get to see how much his regular punches would do to her. And even the kick he does to the back of her head post-domain with domain fatigue, I mean, it knocks her to the ground, but it doesn't actually knock her out. So Yuta can't even like knock out a post-domain super fatigued Uro with a kick, which should be stronger than a punch. And obviously against Ryu, Yuta just does no damage. Like, you can literally go reread the Sendai fight. It's a wonderful fight, so please go reread it. Anyway, but like legitimately just looking for Yuta's raw power stats in that. In the multiple encounters that he has with Ryu, hand to hand, he does nothing. Like, legitimately, punching Ryu is worthless. And admittedly, Ryu's super dope. Is he, though? Is Ryu really that bulky? I'm trying to think. How bulky is Ryu? Because the thing is, right, the only reason I'm saying Ryu's so bulky is because he eats his own attacks, which are the highest output in the verse. And he also eats Yuta's. He doesn't necessarily eat anything else, because Ryu doesn't have that much screen time. He does get one shot by Sukuna. But regardless, that's the thing. Yuta does no damage with his fisticuffs. And even going back to an even weaker character, Kurushi is able to block and deal with seemingly a fresh Yuta. Sure, Yuta had like slain 6 people before Druve, but it looks like he low-dipped all of them. His clothes weren't even ruffled by the time he one-tapped Druve. And we don't have any skill for Druve. But Kurushi is able to block and, not no-sell, I would say, but block and deal with a lot of used attacks. You have Ryu, who takes absolutely no damage. You have Uro, who takes hits from Yuta, but remember, Yuta literally wombo comboed Uro with Rika after paralyzing Uro, and Uro was still able to fight just fine after that, and even go on to open a domain. So, and that was with an extra gauntlet on top. We have no idea what that gauntlet does, unfortunately. There's just, that it doesn't even get a name. That's how worthless the curse tool is. But presumably, a gauntlet-covered hand does more than a bare fist. So even with the gauntlet, nothing is accomplished physically by Yuta. His AP is trash. Like legitimately. Naming 5 characters stronger than Yuta in terms of just raw AP. Ryu, Sukuna, Gojo, Kenjaku. Well, Kenjaku's weird. But Kenjaku's able to punch around grade 1s. But he doesn't, like, Kenjaku doesn't actually do that much damage physically to Yuki. Like, it usually is, like, the Uzumakis and stuff like that really do, like, numbers to Yuki. But, like, 4 right there. I'd say Yorozu, with the bug armor, is physically stronger. She is able to tag and actually physically damage Sukuna. I know with 230 in mind, there's, like, a lot of contentions now with Yorozu's speed scaling and stuff like that. Like, oh, does it actually really count? But she leaves marks on 15 finger. I don't see Yuta doing that if he can't even scuff Ryu, like, with any physical hit. So I think bug armor Yorozu's stronger. Obviously, Yuki is stronger, but that's kind of, like, Yuki's kind of cheating in terms of, like, people being stronger than Yuta, because, like, that's her technique. So, like, does that really count? I say technically it should, if we're talking about the completeness of a sorcerer, and that is her technique, so it is her AP. That's 6 characters stronger. And then you have Liberated. I think there's no contest. Like, I think we can all agree Liberated Yuji is just physically stronger than Yuta. Like, shock horror. The man can throw buildings and leap and, you know, maybe tag and leave little hints of damage on Sukuna, which is still better than anything that Yuta has done. And then you can just keep going. Toji should be stronger. Maki should be stronger. Hakari should be stronger. Kashimo should be stronger. Like, that's 11 characters. And sure, you can cheat and say, like, well, we can kind of remove, we can kind of, like, yank out Gojo and Sukuna. That's still 9. Yuta's sitting around top 10 with his own AP. And here's the thing, right? Throw Rika in there. It still doesn't get much better in terms of, like, just raw punching, raw who can hit super duper hard. Because notably, Rika is able to damage Ryu. That is something that Yuta's unable to do. Rika, when she, like sent Ryu, she did send Ryu. But then Ryu was able to send Rika right back. And once again, Rika, fully manifested, with a wombo combo, while Earl was paralyzed, didn't actually knock her out or do any, like, extreme amounts of damage. Well, it did decent damage. Once again, Earl was able to keep fighting just fine after getting pummeled by Rika and Yuta at the same time. I can pretty confidently say Jackpot Akari is more durable than that. Well, durable than Uro. Ryu's more durable than Uro. Sukuna, Gojo, Kenjaku, Yuki. Like just name characters. Yorozu. Even Geto. Like, think about it. Geto, who's facing, it really depends. It really depends on whether or not you think JJK0 Rika is drastically stronger than current Rika, and JJK0 Yuta is drastically stronger, or even stronger at all, compared to modern Yuta. If you do think that, then even Suguru Geto, who is a beast, don't get me wrong, he's one of the 4 special grades, but, like, there's nothing too crazy about Geto. Even he's able to eat hits. numerous hits from Rika and Yuta. And what it took Yuta to actually beat Geto was a whole cursed binding vow wombo combo to send Rika's AP through the roof. And even still, it didn't actually vaporize Geto. It took off his arm, though, so I'll give it that. That's the thing. Yuta, in terms of just raw power, isn't actually realistically even top 10. Not to talk of, like, top 5. But, you know, power isn't everything, right? What about his speed? What about the speed of Yuta and Rika? Maybe that levels them up a whole... No. Not really. Like, think about it. Yuta speed-wise is still good, don't get me wrong, but, like, he's kind of in the category of, like, not fully healed demon god Yuji. Like, notably, Yuta at least mentally says, well, I kind of meant to take him out there in my initial rush. I didn't know bro was this speedy. And, like, Itadori's able to kind of, like, smooth and groove on him a little bit. Now, obviously, could you argue that Yuta was holding back? Yeah, so I'll give that. But, like, in terms of his speed scaling, once again, the major stuff that we get is relativity to Geto, relativity to Ryu, and relativity to Uro in terms of just raw speed. And unfortunately, not a single one of those characters are known for their speed. Like, once again, since Yuta was shown by the point in the manga that the statement is made about Nabito before he lost his arm, if you are faster or as fast as Nabito, you should be faster than Yuta. Because, remember what was said, Nabito was the second fastest sorcerer behind Satoru Gojo. Because, you know, Gojo's a cheater. He's a filthy cheater, that man. But with that being the case, Nabito's faster. Naoya, through using the same technique, is going to be faster. Maki, who's able to react to and contend with a stronger Naoya, is going to be faster. Same thing with Toji, who is literally a fighter that is equal to Maki in every single way, shape, and form. Maki's equal to him, so anything Maki can do, Toji can do. Vice versa. So there's that. And then you have liberated Yuji once again being able to tag 15 finger. And I know, Sukuna fan. Let me take a sip before I get into this. I feel like I do this every single time I mention this fight, but Yuta shows direct speed relativity to Ryu. Ryu pulls up on 15 finger Sukuna. Gets perception blitz. Now here's the thing, right? I get it. Sukuna took a bath. He bathed a little bit. He suppressed the Megami Soul, and thusly that took care of the problem. But you got to realize, in 216, let me make sure I'm correct. Let me make sure I'm not giving you all the wrong chapter. I'm gonna go back right now. I got the Googler right in front of me. But in 216, let me quote, bro, because maybe I'm wrong. It's not 216. It's 215. In 215. Let me make sure I quote correctly. Let me pull out my reading degree. I actually have my glasses anywhere near me. Do I need to change my avatar? I don't actually wear my glasses that often anymore. But still, my cursed energy output is fluctuating. At its lowest, it's under 10%. But physical movement seems to be fine. So movement. That's all I'm saying. Movement is fine. So the bath only took care of the fluctuating output. Output is how hard he hits and how much his cursed technique does in terms of raw damage, how much output he can put behind that. His physical movement is fine. So the bath shouldn't have done anything about his physical movement because there was nothing to repair there. So Yuta goes relative to Ryu. Ryu gets perception blitz by 15 finger. Now, here's the thing, right? Even if, because I've heard a lot of people say, Ryu just got outsped. He wasn't necessarily perception blitz. Well, I kind of disagree with that. Like, notably, if you look at the panel when Ryu's, like, sliced up all across the face in 216, like he's literally not even looking at Sukuna anymore. Sukuna is behind him by the time that happens. In my opinion, that's perception blitz. But regardless, 15-finger Sukuna drastically outsped Ryu to the point where Ryu couldn't even tell what was happening and got sliced. Ryu could not land a single attack on 15-finger Meguna. Guess who could land a couple attacks on Yuta? It was Ryu. So, in terms of relativity, Yuta's around there. And with Maki having direct scaling to 15-finger with fine physical movement, that's faster. Maybe a whole perception blitz too. You never know. But, like, Maki, Nabito, through the second fastest sorcerer statement, arguably, you should be able to argue Kenjaku too. Like, Kenjaku showed relativity to Yuta. But, like, well, no. Geto showed relativity to Yuta, and Kenjaku is seemingly stronger than Geto. But that's much more conjecture, because we know that Kenjaku's strength depends on the body he's in, so maybe he's not stronger than Geto. Who knows? But with that being the case, there's at least 5 characters who are definitive, well, more than 5. Gojo, Sukuna, the cheaters, obviously. You can include multiple variations of Sukuna if you really want to, but whatever. If you include multiple variations of Sukuna, you get like 1, you get Maguna, 20 finger and 15, then you get Itadori 15. Because that, like, it's hard to argue anything speed-wise lower than that. Like, it really is. Unless you want to argue, like, 3 finger, according to Sukuna, has relativity to Maharaga, and Maharaga is able to attack 15 finger. That's just weird. It's nightmarish stuff. But we are going to include multiple variations. Just Gojo and Sukuna, 2 characters. Then you have Maki, who should be faster. Then you have Toji, who's equivalent to Maki, should be faster. Then I'll argue, once again, multiple variations of Gojo. I mean, you could argue Awakened Teen Gojo faster, too. And I honestly would say he is. And then you have Liberated Yuji. 5 characters that are just definitively faster, based on scaling directly to 15 finger. Maharaga is another thing, like, do you want to include it separately? Or you just say it's part of Sukuna and Megumi's kit? You want to say it's just part of the 10 Shadows and it shouldn't be counted as its own character? Then it's only 5 that you can, like, just say are definitively faster than Yuta. It's really hard to do, like, it's weird. It's hard to do interconnecting speed scaling when it comes to JJK because, like, a lot of fights are isolated speed-wise. Like, it's hard to tell how the special grades stack up, except for Gojo, obviously. But it's hard to tell how the special grades stack up compared to speed. Like, is Yuki massively faster at all, equal to speed, relative to speed than Yuta? We don't know. Same thing with, well, I mean, we know Geto is relative to Yuta in speed a year ago. But, like, Yuta compared to now, like, we have no idea on the specifics of that. But we have 5 definitive characters who are faster. And then Maharaga in there if you want to wiggle in a number 6. So Yuta's not top 5 in speed either. And unfortunately, Rika just doesn't have anything that, like, puts her a speed tier above Yuta. The only thing that you can really give Rika speed-wise is the fact that when she's unmanifested, she can kind of just appear. Like, that's the only thing. She's in her little, like, shadow realm. Does that ever get explained? Where does she go? Because she always pops out of those, like, little dark parts. We never know where she goes. But regardless, she has her little shadow realm that she can pop out of. But even then, I'm assuming most characters could probably dodge that. And, like, because I'm assuming Rika's very easy to send. So the moment she, like, goes to grab at you, bada bing, bada boom, just out of the way. So 5 characters, well, not really 5, because Gojo, Sukuna, Maki, Toji, Liberated Yuji, Nobito. 7. So Yuta's not even top 7 in terms of raw speed. And Rika, once again, best relativity or best speed feats that Rika has shown is when working with Yuta, she's able to keep up with and tag special grade Geto, and she's able to go relative with Ryu. Like, they do have, like, little tiny panels of them fisticuffing it out, but that's it in terms of her speed scaling. Well, I do believe, and I think it's pretty hard to argue against the idea that Yuta is much physically stronger than Yuta. Like, one is able to damage Ryu, one isn't, obviously. I don't think there's a massive difference in speed. Unfortunately, like, it really depends manga to manga. You gotta check. A lot of mangaka vary in this. Usually when power increases, speed increases. It works like that in Dragon Ball. It typically works like that in Naruto. It typically works like that, I'd say, even in Bleach. And even, it's hard for some to listen. Sometimes you argue it does. Sometimes you can argue it doesn't because of weird stuff. But in JJK, speed and power do not linearly correlate. The stronger you are does not mean you're automatically faster. The faster you are does not mean you're automatically stronger. So, unfortunately, Rika's best scaling is, once again, just to Ryu and just to Special Grade Geto. Characters that should all be slower than 15 finger. So anyone who scales relative to 15 finger or just has the statement that they're the second fastest sorcerer and should be relative to that, bada bing, bada boom, they're going to be faster than Yuta. So Yuta isn't top 5 in power or speed. And even with Rika up there, I don't think she's up there that high either. Once again, for the power thing on Rika, it's weird, right? Because she's able to damage Ryu. But then Yuta and Rika working together with their full power combined blast gets torn through by a weakened Ryu. So, like, I don't know. Maybe you could argue that's top 5 with Rika specifically. But even then, obviously not Gojo and Sukuna. I don't think Yuki. I really don't think that Rika's stronger than Yuki. Even once again, that 15 finger stuff, it's super duper hard. If Ryu had landed a single hit on Sukuna and shown that he could have actually done damage to 15 finger, then I'd be able to argue a whole different story. But right now, it's kind of just theorizing because the best we got is Ryu. So, like, I don't know. I don't think Rika would be able to do to Hikari what Kashimo's lightning bolts were doing to Hikari. So Kashimo's output should be higher. And then obviously Ryu himself. So, like, 5 characters, once again, booting Yuta right out of top 5 for that. For both power and speed, Yuta just isn't up there as a top 5 character. But then, you'd be like, hey, forget all this. Sure, he may not be the strongest, he may not be the fastest, but come on now, bro. You know he got that mimicry. You know he got the data book on him. You know, someone slide him the JJK wiki. You know he gonna get his hacks out. Let's get it. Yeah, here's the thing, right? Yuta has the potential, once again, purely the potential, to be one of the most insane characters ever. In terms of JJK specifically. Like, they're like big things that bro could have seen that could put him, like, they could have slot him up. Like, I'm mainly talking, like, if he really did get to see all of Mechamaru's footage from Shibuya, and, like, not even just Shibuya, if he got to see all of Mechamaru's footage, and, like, he just spent the whole month watching that, there are some crazy things he could have seen. He could have seen disaster plants, he could have seen disaster flames, he could have seen idol transfiguration, he could have seen, well, Dagon's weird. I'm not sure how much of, because the domain happened, and I don't think Mechamaru has any footage of inside Dagon's domain. But even then, just a little bit in that disaster water, like, he could have gotten some crazy stuff. He could have been reviewing Cleave and Dismantle over time. Obviously, he was there to see Angel use her technique. Like, there's a bunch of things that Yuta could have that could kind of make him crazy. Like, I'd say you just give him, like, literally tack idol transfiguration on Yuta right now, and he's easily top 5 in hacks. But currently, once again, going currently, ignoring any speculation, because I know that's hard to do. I know that's definitely hard to do, especially with a character like Yuta. It's kind of the same thing with Kakashi and Naruto. Like, but he's the copy ninja. He knows 1,000 jutsu. Like, he should have an answer for every situation. Same thing with Yuta. He should have, like, 15 different answers to everything. But, once again, going purely by what we have for Yuta right now, Gege could drop the chapter and just give Yuta 50 different abilities, and I couldn't do anything about it. It's Gege. He can do whatever he wants. Clearly. Did you read 230? So, like, obviously, Gege could change this tomorrow. But, going on what Yuta currently has, he only has 3 techniques in his belt. And even all 3 of those together, I wouldn't say makes him a top 5 characters in terms of abilities. Hacks, maybe, because hacks are specific. But in terms of abilities, I don't know. I don't think he's top 5. Obviously, the Limitless clears. Like, even with Sky Manipulation, Drew Shikigami Technique, and Curse Speech, it's not a competition, you know? Like, this is the Limitless. The Limitless alone is absolutely great. You could argue, can you argue that, though? I'm not sure. I was about to make a blasphemous claim. Nah, not with the 6. Because I was about to say, maybe the 6 size alone are even better. But it's just Curse Energy Efficiency. It doesn't really matter if you're not strong enough to do anything with it. Like, give Inumaki the 6 eyes, and it's not really going to do anything for his AP or his Curse Speech or anything like that. He'd just be super duper. He'd be able to yell at you a bunch. But if he's still not strong enough, it doesn't really matter. So same thing with Yuta. If his AP isn't high enough, it doesn't matter if he has a 6 eyes. But specifically the Limitless clears. I don't think we're going to really have, like, a complicated debate about that. Yuki's star rate, notably. But the thing is, though, I can't say Yuki's star rate, because even I still think, because a lot of y'all did bring up good points on the special grade Curse Spirit technique ranking video. A lot of y'all were like, well, realistically, Yuki should be like number 3 above Yuta because it's the 5-minute thing, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I'm just specifically going off the abilities. Let's pretend the 5-minute thing doesn't exist right now. I'm gonna get to it, but let's pretend it doesn't exist. I still think Sky Manipulation plus Curse Speech plus Drew Shikigami is still really good, so I can't just hit super duper hard above Yuta. But, like, Cleave and Dismantle is still clear of Yuta. Notably, the only reason Gojo is able to do what Gojo does is because he's Gojo. Like, that first slice that he got, what side of his neck was it? Like, that first, I'm not going to actually draw this, but because it is somewhat sharp, so I'm not going to do that. But, like, that first slice that went right here, any other character, their head's off. Like, their head's literally off. It's just because Gojo has a 6 eyes, crazy Curse Energy Efficiency, is already consistently spamming RCT. Any other character in that scenario, gone. Cleave one-taps characters. Like, insanely one-taps characters. This is kind of going back into the power discussion, but unless your name is Satoru Gojo, the auto Curse Energy adjustment of Cleave is crazy. That hacks alone, it's like, I don't want to say it's Duraneg, but it's like Duraneg light. Like, it doesn't necessarily negate your durability. We see with Ryu's able to eat. Well, it depends on whether or not that was Dismantle or Cleave. I think it's Cleave, but I don't really know. Gege's never told us the difference between the two. But with that being the case, Ryu's able to eat it. Yuta probably is able to eat those too, the casual ones from Sukuna. But like a serious cleave is better than anything Yuta has to offer. Yuta pulls out Curse Speech, tries to tell you to do something. Oh no, he's cleaved in half. Yuta tries to sky manipulation. Oh no, his hands are gone. Yuta throws out some Shiki. Oh no, the Shikigami are all sliced in half. Like, it's just not. Limitless cleaving his mantle, they clear. The fire arrow is kind of but that's neither here nor there. Cleaving his mantle alone clears. Curse Spirit manipulation, once again, just infinitely better. Notably, I'll admit this, at base, both are kind of not worthless. Like, I'd say in a fight, if you had to ask which one you would want if both had nothing, you would want Copy, because you could hypothetically learn your opponent's technique mid-battle. But based on how they're set up by the time of their respective wielders, aka Kenjaku and Geto, you have 3 curse techniques versus hypothetically thousands. I don't think it's really a competition in terms of diversity between Copy and Curse Spirit manipulation. That's 3 that are already better. And here's the thing. Like I said, I mentioned this earlier, Idol Transfiguration is cracked. Like we don't talk about it that much because Mahito's been not in the narrative for like... Has it been 100 chapters since Mahito? Let me double check that. Has it been 100 chapters since Mahito? Let me go to chapter 130. Maybe it has been 100 chapters since Mahito. Actually, maybe not. Let me double check. We're at 230 now. Okay, so it hasn't been exactly 100 chapters, but it's been like 3 years. Because Mahito... Come on, work with me. Work with me. Yeah. Wait, no, that's not it. I was about to say, yeah, work with me. But, yeah, he gets eaten in chapter 134. So, like, Mahito's last appearance is in 133, I think. Yep, 133. That's his last appearance. So, we haven't talked about Idol Transfiguration that much, because it's been kind of out of the narrative, but Mahito's Idol Transfiguration is stupid. Like, it is just legitimately, it's better than anything Yuta has to offer. Even if I agree, because the thing about Mahito is that it's not actually a one-tap technique. It really isn't. Like, if Nanami is able to somewhat resist it, obviously characters much stronger than Nanami are going to be able to easily resist it. But, like, the fact that it's a 1 or a 2-tapper, like, Yuta may need 4 hits. Just touch Yuta and then bada bing, bada boom. That is a crazy technique. That would make up... The reason I say Idol Transfiguration alone would shoot Yuta up way higher is because it would make up for his lacking AP. It wouldn't make up for his lacking speed. The one thing about Idol Transfiguration is that you do need to touch. But even then, you can still use Idol Transfiguration on yourself. And as long as you're someone like Mahito or someone with an extreme amount of cursed energy, even using Idol Transfiguration on yourself is crazy. You can make clones, you can make doubles, you can manipulate other people into your literal weapons. Like, Idol Transfiguration is cracked on its own. That's 4 techniques. But what else could be more hacks? Sky manipulation, that's a crazy combo right there. There's no way. Comedian. It kind of just makes you immortal. I think there's like no other way to put it. Like, I legitimately don't think, unless you open Domain on them. Domain is where it gets a little wibbly wonky. But I think Domain, outside of Domain, the Comedian is just better than Copy. Because one, since no one knows about it, Takaba himself doesn't even know about it, it's not like Yuta could even copy it. So, from an outsider's perspective looking in, if you're not like Gege or us, the reader, you just have no idea why Takaba just straight up can't go. He simply cannot perish. That's how broken that is. Like, you just can't get rid of Takaba because he's that powerful. So the Comedian, up there, that's 5. You need a 6-1, 10 shadows. Just Maharaga alone invalidates Yuta's entire kit. Like, legitimately. There's nothing in Yuta's kit that could beat Maharaga alone. Now throw Nue in there. Dropping car-sized lightning bolts. Throw Max Elephant in there. Literally flooding the entire area. Or just drop it on somebody. Forget it. Heck, you have the Tranquil Deer. Just free RCT, because why not? It can just negate constructs and stuff like that. And who knows what would happen if a certain Shikigami were to roll up and try and grab the Tranquil Deer. Maybe it would just absolutely instantaneously perish. I don't know. Even the bull, like, once again, the bull is kind of simple because it's just like, oh, it runs at you really, really hard. Yay. But like, it just keeps getting stronger as it runs at you. That's kind of cuckoo crazy. That's kind of bonkers. Heck, being realistic, We don't even know like, we always talk about theory for Yuta, but theory for 10 shadows, we still don't know what the 10th one is. We know Maharaga, he seems like the top dog, but after, I don't know, after 230, maybe he ain't. There may be that last 10 shadow that made us go absolutely crazy. So 10 shadows is better. Then you have another big bad one, another cuckoo crazy one, if you will. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You gotta love that jackpot. Now here's the thing. I will admit, Hikari on his own, idle end the gamble isn't the best, because if someone has a domain themselves, I mean, it's good in tug of wars, but if you run into anyone with an open domain, you automatically lose. But then again, not many two characters have open domains. So since Hikari is established to be good at tug of wars, and since the house is rigged, 9 out of 10 times you're going to be dealing with an immortal man until he's just continuously being immortal. You kind of have to take his arm off, and that's going to be difficult because he has infinite curse energy flow. That's it. Like, it gets crazy. Realistically, this is going to sound crazy, Soul Split Katana is a better curse technique than anything Yuta has access to, because it just negates their ability. Like, it just... Thing with curse speech, you can tank curse speech. Geto tanked being crushed. Admittedly, we didn't see Yuta use it on him, so maybe Yuta, with his higher amounts of curse energy, could do better with it. But, like, when Itamaki tried to use it, it didn't work out too well. For Sky Manipulation, it's very good, don't get me wrong. Sky Manipulation is cracked. I'd say Sky Manipulation is low-key like a top 10 technique in the series. But what you gonna manipulate when you get sliced in half, brody? Like, straight up. Admittedly, though, Soul Split Katana has, like, higher prerequisites. Even the Guru Shikigami technique, you don't get much, but the ability to just casually negate, that's crazy. Speaking of negation, look at Angel. Angel, once again, that one ability to negate all other abilities is better. Jacob's Ladder is better than anything that Yuta has to offer right now. I'm not even trying to make characters I made at this point. Creation. Look at, well, admittedly not Bai's creation, Yorozu's creation. What does Yuta do against Infinite Spear? Or not Infinite Spear, Perfect Spear. That thing is infinite attack potency. Heaven forbid Yorozu opens domain and it becomes a sure hit. Oh, you're done. You're done. That's the thing. Yuta right now currently doesn't even have top 5 hacks. I'm not sure how many characters I named. Like, legitimately, I think I maybe at like 6 or 7. But, like, there you go. Even IQ-wise, I'll go IQ is the easiest one. Yuta is very, very smart. Don't get me wrong, but he's not Kenjaku smart. He's not Gojo smart. He's not Sukuna smart. Bro really ain't even Urume smart. Urume's been around for a minute. But then again, Urume threw themselves at Gojo. So maybe they aren't that smart. But not Yuki smart. Not Geto smart. Not Higuruma smart. Higuruma's a real genius. You want to talk about geniuses? Look at Higuruma. So, like, even in terms of that, and Kashimo just has a way higher battle IQ. Kashimo's crazy. Like, I've been clouding on Bro recently because he's kind of allowed me to. But Kashimo's up there, too, in terms of ability, in terms of just, like, that fat old big brain. Yuta's creative, don't get me wrong, but, like, I don't know. Give me Rika. Give me copy. I'd probably use it, but not kidding. No way. No way. Never. But still, Yuta is top 5 in nothing. Nothing at all. So how can he be top 5? Like, notably, there are characters who I think finagle their way into the top 5, heck, even top 3, even though they don't necessarily have the best stats and everything. Kenjaku's a top 3 character for me. I think he's the 3rd strongest in the verse. He is not the strongest. He, in terms of just sheer punching power, probably doesn't even have, like, top 5 output. I'd say Sukuna, Ryu, Gojo. I'd say Maki probably punches harder. I'd say Liberate Yuji probably punches harder. So, like, there you go, 5 right there. Kick Kenjaku out of that. I don't think Kenjaku's top 5 fastest. Unless he's somehow faster than Naobito. And, no, but then again, he's a curse user, not a special grade. Or not a registered special grade anymore. So maybe he can bypass that one, but I still don't think he's faster than Maki. I don't think he's faster than Toji. I don't think he's faster than 15 Finger. I don't think he's faster than Yorozu, maybe. But that's Kenjaku's weird. But essentially, you can be top 5 without having top 5 in everything. But the thing is, nothing Yuta has individually is that overwhelming that he can kind of, like, cover his weaknesses. The reason Kenjaku's top 5, in spite of his lacking, like, super crazy stats, is that he literally just has infinite abilities. Like, not infinite. I get not infinite, but, like, pretty much infinite. Like, bro can kind of just cook anything whenever he feels like it. He, like, Gege could say Kenjaku has this curse spirit that does this crazy thing, and we could do nothing about it. Because, bro, literally, what? I think in the data book, he said he has, like, 4 million. Does anyone even understand that elephant curse that he had? Sure, Yuki one-shot it. It's no longer on the field anymore. But like still, does anyone even understand that thing? I don't. I still don't know what it actually does. He probably has like 10 of those. Not the same thing, obviously, but he probably has like 10 of that kind of cursed spirit. He can pull out anything from his magic bag. And even his current bag of like gravity plus cursed spirit manipulation. Whoa, English. Gravity plus cursed spirit manipulation. Those two alone, crazy. Plus a barrierless domain. just throw salt in the wound, why don't you? Even characters who have super duper simple kits, like Maki, like Toji. Hey, Verdant Spirit Heaven plus Duranik is crazy. What can I say? That's the thing. Yuta right now just does not have anything that puts him in top 5. His overall balance isn't good enough. Even if his hacks are really, really nice or solid enough, they aren't the best hacks. Even if his power is really, really solid and good enough, it's not the best power. Even if his speed is really, really solid and not good enough, his speed is not the best. Same thing with his IQ. Overall, Yuta is crazy. I'd say he is definitively a top 10. I personally cannot name 10 characters in the narrative stronger than Yuta Okkotsu. I can't. I was about to try. I literally can't. But for top 5, I think it's a little bit too much. I think Yuta's getting a little bit too overrated. However, that's what I think. Please put what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you guys think I'm crazy? Do you guys think I'm nuts? Like, there's absolutely no way that Yuta's not a top 5 character? Or do you guys agree? Or even worse, do you think Yuta's not even a top 10 character? Please let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure the notification bell so you do not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below. Each over as low as $1 get things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. And also now become a member to the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Now, thank you so much for watching once again. Ooh, that was wrong. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is that guy with the pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a very big thank you to our $3 members, Recliner Plays and Red Wolf 4765. I'd like to give another very big thank you to our $5 patrons, Alex Ice Rose, Art Goon, DemXLND, Midnight Gemlord, Red Wolf 4765, and Sean. I'd like to give another very big thank you to our $10 patrons, Demokami, Joaquin, and Robbie Uchiha. I'd like to give another gargantuan thank you to our $25 member, Alex Ice Rose.